I hope we can give you something today to take away, to help you in whatever exercise or movement that you choose to do. So my name is Susie. I have had Suna for almost 20 years now, and I love working bodies. I love figuring out what's happening with them and getting you, hi Huia, thank you very much, and love getting you to where you want to be. And that's really what our clients do. They come in and they say, I want to do this and it's not happening. How do I do this? And we have a whole bunch of different things that we can actually look at that can help you. So tonight, one of the most common questions we have had in over the past 20 years is people coming in saying, hey, look, I'm doing this every day. I'm going to the gym, or I'm jogging, or I've done this Pilates, and I haven't got any thinner. And I'm not feeling any better about my body, and I've got this happening and this and this and this. And so people often think that just by exercising a lot, they're going to get the results they desire. And there's many reasons why that may not be the case for a lot of people. And it really is a really individual thing. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And anyone who sells you on a one-size-fits-all exercise regime is really not telling the truth. You know, if we like being of service to people and helping people with their bodies, then you have to be willing to send people to the best movement or the best thing for them. And that's really crucial that people are open to that. Also, as we change in our bodies, so we may have at one time been very athletic, doing this and this, and then you have kids, whether you're the mum or the dad, suddenly there's a whole lot more to life, and we can stop exercising as much, maybe stop eating as well for some people. And so the body can change, and then when we're ready to take it back on again and get into our bodies, we can find it's really different, and the things that once worked for us don't work for us anymore. So we're gonna have a look at some of those things tonight. So how to get the best results with exercise, and exercise is not a dirty word. I like to think movement. It's just movement, and we're kinetic beings. The more we move, the more we can move. If I have a window and it's got hinges, and I open my window every day on the hinges, and I close my window every day, I might need to oil it a little every now and then, but I'm going to have a good functioning window with good functional hinges. If I leave that window closed for a couple of years and then I try and open it again, that might be a problem. My hinges might be too rusty. And it's the same with the body. If you're not using your spine, you're going to lose that functionality. If you're not using your legs so much, you're going to lose that functionality. So it's really important that we stay moving, and there's a billion different ways to do it. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to do anything. You can move in your everyday life anyway. So, number one, doing exercise without result. That is one of the most common things I see. And people come in and they'll tell me the stories of how much they've done, and it actually sounds horrific. And they've taken it on board like a chore because they're punishing their bodies. Oh, my body did this and it held too much weight, and so I'm going to beat it and not eat much, and that's going to bring my weight down. Now, for some people, that will certainly work for a period of time. But it is really fun to see how much your body can do. It's not fun to abuse the body. And over-exercising and under-eating is a real problem in our culture at the moment. And what I find is people go on a 5-week, an 8-week, a 10-week detox or boot camp. And don't get me wrong, they're not all going to kill you, but there are some that do real damage. If you've been living off takeaways and meals here and there and really stressed and a lot on, and then suddenly you go alcohol-free, you limit your food intake, you cut out all your sugar instantly, and these are all good things to do for the body long-term, but generally not overnight. The body doesn't love a huge amount of change in a really short time. And then you over-exercise and you haven't been exercising for a long time, and what happens is over 5, 8, 10 weeks, the body generally will lose a bunch of weight simply due to what you're doing to it and the quick changes. We'll be a little bit shocked. But then what happens when you finish that? Oh, thank God I finished. I'm going to have a bottle of wine and I'm going to celebrate with fish and chips, and suddenly, bang, out goes the body again. And then you do it again. And the more you do this, the harder it is for the body to let go, because this is traumatic for the body. And so you end up with all these metabolic syndromes. You end up with a metabolism that thinks it needs to slow down because it's saving your life because you abuse it so much. And do we really think that nature created this body to be abused? Do you really think that it has to be so hard and such a tedious chore? The key to exercise and movement is finding the fun in it. Finding something that you feel that you belong, finding something that is not a chore, finding something that you can learn to enjoy is really, really important. So number one, if you are over-exercising and under-eating, that can give you some temporary results. Long-term, when I see clients who have been doing that sort of behaviour for quite a long time, and often we'll find out that they have clients who are living on lollies, lots of sweet things to keep their energy up. We find they have faulty blood sugar mechanisms, all sorts of issues. But this is actually really dangerous for the body, really dangerous for the heart. For women, it can be really dangerous for the lower internal organs, our female organs as well. So what is over-exercise, what is under-eating? You know, it's just a little bit more than is required. No pain, no gain. That's a really big one. People often come in and they say, oh, well, I did one class and I didn't sweat. I didn't really feel it. Well, when you start with us, and we do get people to come in. I was talking to a client the other week who came from a running background, loves her running, had an injury in the Achilles, which was really, really common, needed to do something to stay fit and to keep the head in shape, because that's the time when the body works out any emotional stuff and when we can have some free thinking time and we can release a lot. And this client was telling me how much she hated Suna Pilates when she started. I was downstairs in IE and she's going, I really hated it. I hated it so much. Now, it's probably the second person in 2 weeks who's told me this. I just hated it because I'm used to going to CrossFit and going to the gym and running, and I can do anything and I'm the fastest and I'm the best. And I came to you and all your trainers tell me is shoulders down, chest open, pubic bone to belly button, turn those knees out. And it was just like I couldn't do anything right, and they wouldn't let me do the hard stuff that the 80-year-old next to me was doing. And so she was doing better than me. And I can do stuff, but your trainers tell me it's wrong. And then I realized I needed to calm down and learn to do things in a correct way. And it can take you a little bit to change that mindset that I've got to sweat and I've got to hurt and I've got to be in pain. Now, for our clients that have been here a long time, and we do have some of those clients that have been here since 2000 with us, the ones who are really functional and have really understood what we are trying to build, they love it because we can absolutely nail them. We will see if you're doing great and your posture's perfect, oh, we'll keep pushing you. We're like, fantastic. You're up to variation 35. We've only got another 15 to go. That'll be amazing. You'll be doing that on one leg by the time you're finished. So we will push you as far as you can maintain your correct functional posture. Whereas, and you can sweat, and a lot of our clients do get sweaty or glowy. However, it's not necessary because regardless of what class you're in, we are pushing you at the safe level for you. And your safe level is your effective level. So the whole no pain, no gain thing, that's a really old idea in the gym. However, it is deeply ingrained in our psyche. And so people still feel like it's punishment. If you have a dog and it's not behaving well, do you just punish it and punish it and punish it, run it and run it? Is that going to make it behave any better? Not really. That's not really how we train things. And our bodies really don't appreciate being taken to as if they're being punished. We want to treat these vessels with love. You have a sore back, oh, thank you so much, body, for recognizing that something's wrong when my mind is just going and living my crazy old life and I need to calm down. Oh, thank you, body, for telling me that I'm tired. I do need a rest. I do need to lie down. It's about listening to those really smart bodies, not so much what's going on in the head. Posture, that's another big one. Sometimes I have people come in and they say, well, I've been running every day and I do 10K here and rah-rah-rah, and my butt's still big and my tummy's still hanging out. And I take one look at them and they have a really forward tilt on the posture. Rather than the pubic bone being nice and aligned with the hip bones, they have an anterior tilt on the pelvis. And so every time they're running, they're just using the front of their legs and they're actually overusing their low back. Now the body has muscular pairs, bicep, tricep, only one works at a time, okay, one at a time. The front and the back are like that too. If I'm in a posture where my back's working to hold me up, my abs aren't going to work. They're not going to function. If I have a body that sits a lot, because when I'm sitting, my butt and the back of my legs are getting lengthened out all the time, and my hip flexor at the front is getting really short and tight. So when I stand up, I've got that pelvis tilting forward and my butt popping out the back. It means my bum's not working, my hamstrings aren't working, and if those aren't working, my back has to work. And if my back has to work, my abs can't. So you could be running for 20K a day, but if you've got an anterior pelvic tilt, you're not working your bum and you're not working your abs. So just making those slight postural changes to people make a world of difference. I have people who want to build the perfect butt, and I'm a big fan of butts. They're like our youthening, vitalizing muscles, because if your butt is functional, which it isn't in our sitting culture for most people, if your butt's functional, you're going to always be able to get up and down on the floor. You're just going to last a lot longer with a lot less wear and tear. So things like squats and lunges are fantastic for that. And the number of people we run into who do squats and lunges incorrectly in really poor posture, and I say, where are you feeling that? Oh, I feel my front of my legs and my low back a lot. Okay, that's not really what it's about. So doing exercises in your correct posture, it's not just going through the motions. What's the point of that? You know, so many people are already living Groundhog Day. I'm going to work, I'm getting the kids up, I'm going to work, I'm coming home, I'm doing the kids, having a wine, watching Netflix, going to bed. So many people are already doing this. Let's do things with purpose. Let's do things with meaning. And that's where all the juicy stuff in life is. And it's also how you make exercise work for you. When our trainers are talking, they say, okay, everyone, we're going to be doing some squats here. So this is where you place your legs. And this is the movement. And this is the mechanism. Knees out over toes. Now pull your weight back to your heels. Can everyone feel the bum there? Fantastic. Open the knees out. Can everyone feel the upper thighs? Great. Now deflate your abs in. Can we feel that too? Now let's pull it all together with our breath. So we are naming what the exercise is for. We are naming where you are to feel it. And if you don't, we will come up and we will poke you in the right places until you do feel it. And that's really, really important. Not going through the motions, actually feeling it where you're supposed to feel it. Sometimes people come and they say, oh, I'm doing 1,000 sit-ups a day and I still don't have abs. And I watch a sit-up and they're basically working the neck flexors in their chest. They're not compressing the abs, it's just the rectus working down the middle. So it's super important to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And we can do it in a lot less time. I mean, some of our classes are half an hour and that's all that's required at a certain level of maintenance. Thank goodness. So posture is super important for everything we do. And the cool thing is, once you come in and you have your first session, we'll show you your leg tracking, your pelvic position, your rib cage, your breathing, your shoulders and your neck positioning. And then you could be standing. I was standing watching my son play sport this afternoon, and I'm just aware that I'm standing in my right posture because I've been doing it for a long time. You can start practicing it anywhere that you want to, anywhere where you can stand, cooking dinner, doing the dishes, whatever works for you. Food's a big one. I know we're talking about exercise, but do understand that abs are really made in the kitchen. And it depends what you want to do with your body, but food is really crucial. It's like if my body was a house, and this was the story of the 3 little pigs, if I make my house out of cheap, easy, fast material like straw or sticks, the big bad wolf will get in. What is the big bad wolf? Inflammation, gut issues, cancers, heart disease, I don't know. If I take a bit more time and I spend a bit more money and I make my house out of bricks, then the big bad wolf comes down the chimney and I cook him for dinner. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So food is really important. If you are doing good exercise and you're feeling good in your exercise and you're like, oh, I need something else, I'm not quite feeling it yet, food is the next place you need to go, and you need to understand metabolic typing. We have some on our website, so that's just Suna Pilates.co.nz or Pilates.co.nz. But understanding metabolic type, which is what is a protein, what is a carb, and what is my fuel, and how do I do that? That can make a really huge difference for a lot of people too. So that's sometimes where we catch people out. They're doing everything great with exercise. It's actually the food that's letting them down. The last one here, that is one of our most common ones, is our stress load. If you are under a whole lot of stress, and a lot of people are very much used to it, so they're running around all day, every day, they've got a full head all the time, but because it's normal, they don't recognize that they're actually in a stress response. And when you are in the stress response, you're in sympathetic dominance. It's like having an accelerator on and no brake. And what this means is we are not as good at healing. What it means is we need energy in, not energy out. So for people who have been in a stress response or in sympathetic dominance for a prolonged period of time, and then they start something like heavy gym work, or something really where they're sweating a lot, where they're spending an hour or more than 4 days a week on it, this is actually going to make the stress response worse. So for those people, doing something more quiet, like walking with bare feet on the ground, walking while grounding, walking at the beach, not listening to music, connecting with nature through your feet, this would actually have more impact on them faster, and they would feel better faster by doing that type of exercise rather than a catabolic type of exercise. So really important to understand your stress load and have someone who can look at that. A lot of clients, we like to understand what our clients are doing and what they want. So we're really into understanding your goals and your injuries and how you're feeling during classes. So we have time, to talk to you during the classes and in between the classes to find out what's happening. And a huge majority of times when people are in higher stress, we find that's when they're getting injuries in their sports. We find that's when the gut problems are coming back up and stuff like that. So that's something that we need to be aware of as well. So you might not have exercised for a while and think, oh, I need to do something with this body and I need to exercise and I want to feel strong and I want to feel fit. And you may go, so I'm just going to exercise. Now that's great. However, you want to start an exercise that you can sustain for a long time, not stop and start and stop and start. We want to give the body some regularity and love in what it's doing. So to do that, you really need to be aware of what exercise to start with, and that often less is more. And for some people, I've had clients this week even that have come in and they wanted to start with exercise, but we did a whole workup on them first. And what they actually needed to start with was getting hydrated, eating a bit more protein and a bit more fat. We can tell you how to do that. And then we're going to start the exercise after that. But it's one thing at a time. I know you want to change, but it is hard for the body to be going this way and then suddenly do a 180 this way. So the best changes are actually made with little practices and little habits, one piece at a time. So this week, we're going to be drinking 3 litres of water a day, 1 litre per 25 kg you weigh per day, and we're going to swirl it around our mouths before we swallow it so the body can actually take the water in and metabolize it correctly. And next week, we'll see where you're up to. And then once you've nailed the water, we'll get onto the food. Once you've nailed the food, we'll get onto something else. When it comes to where exercise comes and your importance, thoughts really are first, how we're thinking and how we're programmed. We want to be happy and we want to be aware of what's happening with ourselves. Breathing, super, super important. And again, if you're not breathing correctly with exercise, it can become a very stressful thing for the body also. Hydration, way more important than exercise. Get that nailed first. I'm just talking out of it now. Thoughts, breathing, hydration, nutrition, then exercise, then rest. And this is in order of importance. If you're going to hit one thing, hit a little higher up. Okay, if you're already doing exercise, fantastic. We will just do it better, more efficiently to get more out of it. All right, how can I get the results I want? What can I do? What type of exercise is best for me? So we've had a little chat about some of this. What can I do? Well, obviously, finding out where your correct posture is. And with Suna, we do that on your very first session. And we give you a little postural sheet to go home with. And we have it all on our website too. So look it up, get into it. We can look at your food here, and we can look at everything you do. So our Be Well programs, our nutrition and our kinesiology are really great programs to look at those 6 factors: thoughts, breathing, hydration, nutrition, exercise, rest. We can also look at function and structure. So if we have a little bit of rib torque, if we have some pelvic torque, if we have some locks in the cranial area, it is about being able to adjust these things as well, because every little thing helps, and we just want to make you as free and easy as we can. If we look at what type of exercise is best for me, once again, when we look at people's stress load, when we look at what they're doing with their lives, how they're feeling, what issues they do have and what their goals are, that's when we can really look at what's best for you. The cool thing about Suna Pilates is that it is all levels. So the oldest client we've ever had in here was around 96, 97. We have clients in their 90s. We have clients, we have kids. We do some kids exercises and classes as well. And we have a huge age range, and we have a huge ability range. So we have people that have had, say, a knee replacement or a hip replacement, and we can often get them really soon afterwards, pre and post pregnancy. We can really alter what we do because it's not a one size fits all. So if you're doing a personal training session, we just target it exactly to you and what you require. If you're doing a group session, you've been okayed to do the group session from the intro, so you're nice and safe to do it and you get what we're talking about. However, even within a group, if I have 20 people in a group, I can give 20 different variations without slowing everything down if I require. And often what we'll do is we'll start with a really basic variation, and then we'll step it up by lifting legs, changing the pelvic position, adding resistance, adding weight, whatever it may be. Some of our exercises have, 50, 60, 70 different variations. And that's how we train our trainers to teach. And they get more training every single week, and all of them are trained with us. So they're all speaking the same language, which is really important because it doesn't matter who you go with. They are fantastic. Our trainer, we've actually had the longest here. Libby is going on, she must be 15, 16 years with us now. And we just do. We have the best team here ever. Every single person in our team is incredible. And our clients as well. Absolutely amazing. Had that conversation today. I'm just like, how are there so many cool people and they're all here? So it is a really enjoyable thing for all of us here as well to be teaching as well. What is the best type for me? Come in, we'll have a look. If this isn't the best thing for you, we will tell you and we'll let you know where to go. Because the important thing is that you're getting what you need. That's the really important thing here. A couple of things we do to add even more to our systems in Suna, and it's never the same workout twice. We are upgrading every month. We are working on building you. So some of our clients who've been here almost 20 years say, why does it always get harder every year? Because when you get better, we make it harder for you, so you're always challenged. We can always make a challenge no matter your level. Now, interval training has become really popular in the past couple of years, or HIIT training. And it's interesting because we've been doing this about, I don't know, 13-ish years now. I got introduced to the work of Irving Dardick, who was a heart surgeon. And he was actually a big proponent of pushing interval training a long time ago. And he was the head of the American Olympic Committee. He was a runner, and paraphrasing here, but he had a bunch of his runner friends had heart attacks. And when they had a look inside the heart post-mortem, they found no arthroscopic plaque. And what he found was that we only started running long distance so we could be measured on a treadmill with all the different things that need to be stuck to you to measure oxygen saturation, to measure heart rate, to measure everything. It would take the researchers half an hour to put these things on. And so they wanted runners who could run for a couple of hours so they didn't get tired after half an hour and take them off. And so we got all this really long distance running, and you can see over the past 100 years, people have gone for longer and longer distances at the same pace. And that's what's a challenge for the heart. When we strengthen the heart, what we want to do is we want to pop the heart rate up and drop it down. And then get it up a little higher and then drop it down. And then get it up a little higher and then drop it down. And this creates a lot of resilience for the muscles surrounding the heart that help our heart. So Irving Dardick, being a heart surgeon, really got into this and created a whole bunch of programs around it. And he made huge differences for people, but he was basically saying it's making you heart attack proof, it's making you stroke proof, because it's creating resilience in the heart, which is really important. So all of our classes have that interval training in it, and that stepped interval training as well. If you are doing an exercise, for example, if you are a runner, make sure you're not just running at the same pace all the time. Try a minute and a half running and 30 seconds sprinting. Minute and a half running, 30 seconds sprinting, and it's a lot better for the body and it's a lot better for the heart as well. All right, functional fitness. What is functional fitness? Again, there's all these terms that become popular, and having been in this business for quite a long time, I listen to the terms come and go, and my business partner will say, hey, everyone's banging on about functional fitness. And I'll go, yeah, well, we do that. Or everyone's talking about HIIT training. I'm like, well, we already do that. Everyone's talking about this. Well, this is called real training for real people. And, you know, people like Paul Chek have been teaching this for so long. I can't even tell you how long. And I only found Paul about 19, 20 years ago. So this is not new stuff, but just like with nutrition, you know, suddenly everyone's on the antioxidant wagon. Sometimes it's superfoods. None of this is new. Broths are not new. Smoothies are not new. Juices are not new. They just come into fashion. So don't get caught up in the fashions. Understand where they're from and why and if they are important. Functional fitness simply means we are training the body to work in a way that is functional, that it was made to work. We have the same bodies we had about 10,000 years ago as humans, when primarily we would squat down by our fires, so we're not talking chairs for everyone. We would squat down to eat so we could get up and run away really quickly. We were lifting things, we were pushing things, we were building things, we were carrying things. And today our life is quite different from that, and our diet is quite different from that. If you'd said to someone 10,000 years ago, let's go out and get our exercise, they'd look at you like you were crazy. It's just because we have such a non-functional life. Sitting is one of the least functional things you can do to build a body that's going to stop. So functionality, we're talking things your body loves to do. Our functional movements are like squat, lunge, bend, push, pull, twist, and to be able to do all of this with some sort of load or some sort of resistance. And that's what we do here. Sometimes people say to me, oh, Pilates, I tried that and it hurt my neck. We just did so many sit-ups. A huge amount, and Pilates has changed. Joseph Pilates, who invented it, actually thought the spine should be straight. We know it's an S-curve now, so we adjust things. But what we want to make sure of is that, you know, a lot of Pilates used to be just sit up, sit up, sit up, sit up. Ab preps, we'd call it ab preps, obliques, single leg stretch. However, because people are working over computers now, we're all a bit kyphotic. So we don't want to do sit-ups to work the abs all the time. There's a million different ways to work the abs, and you just need to get a bit more creative. So what is our functional exercise? It's exercise that is correcting your posture. If you come to me and you're sitting at a computer all day, number one, your butt and your hammies aren't working, so we're going to be doing squats and lunges properly. Number two, you're going to be tight in the chest and weaker in the shoulder girdle, so we're going to work the shoulder girdle stabilizers. So no matter what exercise we do here, we're pushing you into your correct posture. If you do a press up, I'm going to make sure your neck is extended, your shoulders down, chest is open, pelvis is in neutral, knees are bending over the toes. If we're doing a squat, we're going to go through the whole same checklist as well. So it's really important that we are training functional fitness, which also means the movements that we're not doing enough of. And we love to give tips here. It's like if you are loading the dishwasher, instead of just bending over to do it and overworking that back if you're being unaware of the abs, how about we lunge down to it? How about we squat to it? How many squats could you get done? And I love it when clients come back and go, I started lunging to load the dishes and I can feel my bum. And they're so excited because they sit a lot, so they need that work. How about my favorite, shower squats? Once you've got your correct leg tracking and pelvic positioning, how easy is it to squat in the shower? And that's not really adding any time to your day. That's multitasking, people. If you really want to, how about squats to the toilet? Need to sit down on the toilet? How about we go down almost to the seat and you can sit down on the 10th time? How many squats does that add to your day? How many squats does that add to your week? So it's a very functional exercise. It works the muscles in the legs that are involved in stabilizing and supporting the pelvis and the spine, switching on the abs, and driving the gut as well. Okay, so functional exercise are things that make us as humans more functional, as opposed to sitting, which would make us less functional. So let's see, hopefully we have covered how to get the best results. It is find your correct posture. It is make sure you are eating correctly. Find the correct exercise for you and just commit to it. Once you've committed to it for about 12 weeks, it becomes a heck of a lot easier. When you commit to it with a friend or with your partner, and we do have a lot of partners and friends that come in here, it's actually easier because you've got someone else that you know when you don't feel like it and you're just dragging yourself, and you know you love it when you get there. But if you've got someone else who's relying on you, we do find those people last a lot longer doing the exercise. And last but not least, overall, when people go, oh, well, what's the right exercise for me? You know what? Anything you like. If you enjoy kayaking, go kayaking. If you enjoy quiet walks at sunset or sunrise along the beach, do that. If you enjoy Pilates, come see us. If you don't know, come see us. But what movement is best for you is anything you can sustain. That's the really important part, that we are moving regularly. And the older, and by older I mean wiser, we get, the more movement is required to sustain that same amount of vitality as well. So we can be really clever in how we get that movement. Shower squats. All right. So we have a special for you, our personal training sessions, which is usually 2 one-on-one sessions with a trainer, plus 2 weeks of unlimited classes. And we have well over 100 classes a week from 5:30 in the morning right through till about 8 at night, and Saturday and Sunday, because that's what people need. We are doing a 2-for-1. So you and a friend, or you and a partner, or you and your mum, or you and your dad can come in, the 2 of you, and we will put you with a personal trainer 2 times together, and then you both have 2 weeks of unlimited classes. So that's $99 for 2 of you, your personal sessions plus your 2 weeks. And the cool thing is, you're not signed in. We never lock people in, because for us, if you're not using it, it's not worthwhile. So you are never locked in here. You know, you come in, you do 4 weeks, or you don't. That's it. And we would love to show you what we can do. So if you want a taster to see what we can do, here's the key for you. If you have any questions, you are always welcome to give us an email. Hi, Karen. Holy cow. Love you, Karen. We are always willing to talk to you about anything, to be quite honest, because this is what we're interested in. You know, I've been teaching this for a long time, and I just love bodies. I love your problems. Come in. Let us help you out with that. We have a lot of experience and we really enjoy it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all soon. Have a great night.